This, in my opinion, is the biggest problem that we have in modern dog ownership. And I say this because I specialize in behavior modification. And almost always, like 99.99% of the time, these dogs have... A few weeks ago, I had a consultation with a dog whose owner genuinely thought that he was aggressive. And she absolutely loves this dog. And I mean, she loves this dog. The dog sleeps in bed with her. He gets treats, cuddles, and affection all the time, no matter what, throughout the day. She talks to this dog all day long. She avoided correcting the dog because she didn't want to hurt the dog's feelings or its confidence. If something, anything, ever upset him, she would make sure that it went away. And this is not a criticism of her. She was genuinely doing her best, thinking that she was helping her dog. But by the time that she called me and we're having this conversation, she could no longer have visitors in her home because her dog would go absolutely bonkers. She couldn't walk him comfortably on the leash because he would be explosively reactive, redirecting onto the leash, or even potentially her sometimes. He could not exist independently of her because he always needed to be in constant contact with her in order to feel okay. She couldn't tell him no in a way that he understood, so he never really listened to any type of discipline that she ever tried to give him. And eventually, that dog bit someone. And while we were having this conversation, she told me that her vet has suggested he get put down. Multiple other trainers have suggested that this dog get put down. And she looked at me and she asked me, "Do you think that I need to put my dog down?" And I looked at her, and while I knew what I was going to say, while my answer in my head was abundantly no, I know exactly what this dog needs. Instead, I asked her, between you two, who do you think makes all the decisions in your relationship? Who feels the burden of responsibility for handling all the situations? And I could tell that that was the first time that she was hearing a question like that, even though she's spoken to many professionals that were giving her advice about this situation, but this was the first time we're really analyzing the relationship between her and her dog. Now, that owner and that dog and that conversation has really stuck with me because it put an emphasis on probably the biggest problem that we have in the dog owning world today. We are raising dogs the same way that so many people are raising children today. We're absolutely terrified to tell them no and to give them a meaningful consequence for their bad behavior. We are terrified of causing them the slightest bit of frustration or discomfort. And somehow we've convinced ourselves that love is removing every possible obstacle from their lives. Now, before somebody gets all offended, I'm not talking about yelling. I'm not talking about screaming. I'm not talking about hitting. I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about alpha, and I'm not talking about dominating. I'm talking about leadership. Think about it. You wouldn't hand your 5-year-old kid the keys to the car and tell them, "Hey, you decide where we're going today." You wouldn't ask them whether they feel like brushing their teeth or cleaning their room, whether they feel like going to school that day, whether a bedtime should exist. And not because you're mean, but because they are children. They aren't capable of making those decisions yet. So why do we let our dogs decide when they get attention, which direction the walk goes, who gets to come into the house, where they sleep, whether they have to listen to us or not? And then at the same time, we wonder why our dogs are anxious, demanding, reactive, aggressive, guarding things. Dogs don't need us because they're stupid, and kids aren't stupid either. They need us because leadership is our job as the parent and as the dog owner. And when we stop leading, dogs don't become happier. They simply become overwhelmed by the responsibilities they were never meant to have in the first place. Before we move on, if you're tired of hearing that every behavioral problem is because of your dog's genetics, or because of trauma, or because that's just who they are, take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with another dog owner. It really helps YouTube show this to more dog owners who need to hear it. You know, I'm always going to tell you how it is so that you can actually solve your problems. So let's talk about 3 signs to know whether your dog is running your house and probably your relationship. Sign number 1, your dog controls your attention. They walk over to you, you're always petting them. They paw at you, you're always responding. They whine, they cry, they bark, you always answer. They drop a toy in your lap, even if you're working, you gotta throw it with them. None of these things are bad in and of themselves. make sure that you understand that. I'm not saying if your dog does that, your dog is terrible, etc. That's not what I'm saying. But think about it. In those scenarios, who is training who? Because every single time a demanding behavior works, your dog learns, I don't have to wait for anything. I don't have to settle for anything. Whenever I want something, I demand it, I get it. And if they do resist me in the beginning, all I have to do is escalate my behavior and they will give in. If whining doesn't work, start barking at them. If pawing doesn't work, start nudging them. Imagine raising a child like that. Every time they interrupted you, you just stopped talking and you start listening. Every time they demanded candy, you just gave it to them. Every tantrum they throw, no matter where they are, you give them immediately what they want. Would that child become more emotionally stable? Of course not. Why do you think that would be the case for your dog? Love your dog, spoil your dog, but don't let them have constant control over your attention. Those are two different things. Sign number 2, probably my favorite one, your dog never learns the meaning of no. This, in my opinion, is the biggest problem that we have in modern dog ownership. And I say this because I specialize in behavior modification. Most of the dogs that I work with are dealing with behavioral issues such as anxiety, fear, aggression, reactivity, or resource guarding. And almost always, like 99.99% of the time, these dogs have no idea what no means. The dog barks in the crate, so we let them out. The dog whines at the door, so we open it. Your dog refuses to eat their dinner, so we just make them something better. We just keep adding things until they do want it. They demand a spot on the couch, so we give it to them. They demand for attention in any context, and we give it to them every single time. And then one day, and this will inevitably happen for every dog, life tells them no. And they completely fall apart. They are shattered. They are a shell of themselves because they have no idea how to handle not getting what they want. Remember the dog I was telling you about from the consultation? That dog, when I started working with him and I was effectively telling him, nope, can't do that. Nope, nope, not allowed. Nope, nope, nope. This dog would shut down. Not because I was being mean, but because he's never learned how to exist in a world where he didn't immediately get what he wanted. Because frustration and dealing with those feelings has never been part of their education. It's the same thing with kids these days. They need immediate gratification. They have no patience. They have no ability to deal with frustration. They don't know how to delay gratification. They want it now. They want it yesterday. They cannot grasp the concept of wait your turn. Wait and good things happen. Your dog is no different. Your dog needs that important life skill. And for kids and for dogs, the reason that we're doing this is not because we're trying to make their lives harder. It's because we're trying to prepare them for the real world. And you don't always get what you want in the real world. No matter how many tantrums you throw, no matter how much kicking and screaming you do, it just has to be okay that you don't always get what you want. So that's why we need to teach our dogs and our kids that that's how life works. Sign number 3, your dog makes every decision. Think about your average walk. This is a conversation I have with pretty much every client. Who decides where they're going? Who sets the pace? Who decides when they are on a break? Who decides what they're able to do when they see a dog or a bunny or a squirrel or a bike? For most dog owners, the answer is obviously the dog. The dog decides all of these things. And this is something that I try to instill with all of my clients is that we want our dogs following our lead. Always looking to us for approval on what they should be able to do or not do. If every walk that you go on, your dog is dragging you to every sight, smell, or sound, and they're barking at everything they want to, you're not walking your dog is walking you. And now you take that same dog home, and that dog decides when they get attention from the humans. That dog decides when they go out, when they eat, where they sleep, who's able to come in the door, who's not able to come in the door, whether they move off the couch or the chair if they want to, whether they come inside when you call them, whether they listen to you on a day-to-day basis or not. And then all of those dogs, people will then say, my dog is so anxious, I don't know why. But the answer is so clear. Of course your dog is anxious, reactive, aggressive, you name it, because you've given them a position that they've never signed up for. Okay, Bill, so how do we fix it? Well, listen up, guys. This is exactly how you start to fix these problems. The answer isn't becoming stricter. The answer isn't becoming a dictator. That's not the point. You need to become clearer. Start making the decisions that your dog has been making. You initiate affection and attention and when your dog gets it. And do it when they're calm instead of when they're being demanding or hyper. Don't always respond to your dog's demands. Require calm before going through thresholds like doors, crates, and gates. Teach your dog obedience and follow through on what you're telling them to do. Teach them about patience and delaying gratification. Build your duration for what you're asking them to do. Teach a calm mindset. Teach your dog to start following you on walks. That's such an important, fundamental way that you can start practicing leading your dog and making decisions for them on something you do with them every single day. Teach them that you will say no. You will correct them when they are making bad decisions and when they are doing things that are unacceptable. Teach them that no is not the end of the world. Doesn't mean that you don't love them. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that what they're doing in that moment's unacceptable. Children don't become resilient because life always goes their way. They become resilient because somebody teaches them how to handle life when it doesn't go their way. And your dog is absolutely no different. So in closing, I want to clear up one of the biggest misconceptions in the dog world. And this misconception happens because we got all these fake trainers who hear what I'm about to tell you, and then they misinterpret it and they start spewing that to everybody. And that's where this big misunderstanding happens. People hear the phrase, your dog shouldn't run your house, and they internalize that and they think what we mean is your dog shouldn't be happy. And that couldn't be further from the truth. My dogs sleep in my bed, they have access to my furniture, they play together, they are able to coexist with each other, they listen to me, I take them everywhere. They're as spoiled can be, trust me. But they're also held accountable for their actions. There is structure, there are rules, there are boundaries that they must listen to. And because of that, they have even more freedom. It's a joy to spoil them. A dog that understands rules is a dog that can enjoy life with you. A dog that makes all the rules eventually becomes stressed by all the responsibility that comes with it. And that's the big difference. Again, if you liked anything in this video, please take a second, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, comment any questions below. I'm happy to answer them for you. I'm the Big Dog Guy, and I'll see you in the next one.